Any woman who has undergone IVF treatments or had her eggs frozen knows the routine. There's usually 2 weeks of hormone injections leading up to the egg retrieval process. But a biotech company called Gameto is aiming to shrink that process down to just a few days. Their co-founder and CEO, Dr. Dina Radenkovic-Turner, joins me now. Welcome to NYSE TV Live.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, it's a pleasure to share more about Gameto. We are a leading private biopharma working in women's and family health. And as you mentioned, our lead asset, Fertilo, that is now in phase 3 clinical trials, shortens IVF and egg freezing from 2 weeks of twice daily injections to just a couple of days of injections, leveraging stem cell technology. We are addressing a huge unmet patient need and a great total addressable market of women and families who need such technology in fertility and beyond in reproductive health.
What market specifically are you targeting?
So our lead asset, Fertilo, is working on people who need IVF to build their families, which is, as you have seen, with trends increasing globally. But beyond fertility, we have earlier stage assets in menopause and women's health beyond menopause, of what happens with osteoporosis, heart disease. So it's really kind of developing treatments throughout women's health and throughout their reproductive journey.
How did you come up with this idea? How is the idea for Fertilo born?
Well, as a physician scientist with a pair of ovaries, I guess I always had the personal interest, but Gameto has spun out of George Church's lab at Harvard Medical School. My co-founder and the chairman is also founder of one of the largest fertility clinic chains in North America, Martin Warszawski. So we both saw a huge unmet need and decided that now that with new breakthroughs, some of this stem cell technology received a Nobel Prize for Medicine in 2012. We could use stem cell to make stem cell derived ovaries in a dish, and therefore study the female reproductive system and finally bring better and more applicable treatments.
You just raised $44 million in a Series C round of funding. Congratulations. How will you use this additional capital?
So the funding is really to fuel and complete our ongoing phase 3 clinical trials. So right now, Fertilo is in the final stages of clinical development, ramping up to across 20 sites in the United States for patients who are eligible to participate. But beyond hopefully bringing Fertilo safely and effectively to patients and completing that phase 3 trial, we are looking to advance our menopause program as well, for which we received a $10 million ARPA-H grant, where we have a vaginal ring that addresses the full cocktail of hormones that women lose during menopause.
How will this impact women's lives who are going through these treatments?
Well, yeah, obviously our treatment is still in the stages of clinical development. It has already received clearances in certain ex-US jurisdictions. We had 5 babies born with this technology. Our early clinical data is very promising. So the goal and the mission of the company is to provide much shorter, safer, and more accessible treatments for patients and their families. As you know, IVF has truly been a miracle of science. Almost 50 years ago was invented, but the female patient journey has not really changed at all. Women still inject with these hormones that make it very difficult, especially because most couples need to repeat several cycles to get the baby. So our goal is to relieve that journey by using cutting-edge science.
Dr. Dina Radenkovic-Turner, co-founder and CEO of Gameto, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.